So, hello. My name is Stack Banks. You're now tuned in to the Millionaire Millennial. And for those of you who don't know or have not tuned into the podcast before, I've been using these Twitter Spaces a little bit more, and or well, I guess X. It's not Twitter anymore. But what I'm going to do is do a live stream. Hopefully, you guys can tune in on Twitter as well, and I believe this is being live streamed on YouTube. Excuse me. So for those of you who are tuning in on Pandora or something like that, we are multi-platform. You can find us at the Millionaire Millennial across all platforms, or you can follow me, Stack Banks. I should be the top search on basically all the platforms. And what I'm going to do is talk a little bit about Bankscoin and its proprietary mechanisms. I can't get into too much detail with some of it because I'm going through the patent process, and if I release too much IP out there, then I lose the ability to patent this stuff. And being able to patent it, I think, is important to Bankscoin as a whole, so that I'm able to make sure that the technology is used properly, right, and that just large institutions or random governments, whoever, just aren't able to just take this technology and start using it for whatever they please. Which, who knows, that might get there at some point. But anyways, so what we're gonna do is start the X stream right now, and hopefully some of you guys tune in, and I'll see. Let's see if I can actually. Seems like we're recording, and I'm unmuted. So anyone that wants to join this space can, and I'd appreciate. I like I said, I don't know how long. I don't know if you even said this, but I don't know how long I'll actually even be on here. I plan to spend usually only 15 to 20 minutes doing these because I have a lot of stuff that I'm working on, but it's something that I think is of use to the community as a whole and gives you guys a chance to interact with me and maybe ask maybe some of the things that I don't answer about Bankscoin. Okay, so number one, the whole idea behind Bankscoin started from being in the crypto space, being an investor myself, being someone that believes highly in Web3 and the promises of it, and how everything is going digital now, and we need to have a safe ecosystem and a completed ecosystem within Web3 to keep us safe. Retail investors, institutional investors, even. It's not something that I personally view this new financial space as a zero-sum game where someone has to lose in order for someone else to make money. I don't think that's the way it works. I think at the moment there's a lot of people who are treating crypto like stocks, and leveraging and doing all this different stuff, and to each their own. I'm not going to tell you guys what to do because first and foremost, this is not financial advice. I do this podcast from an educational standpoint, not only for myself, but so that I can pass the value on to you guys, and that this process is transparent and you guys are seeing where my head's at and what I'm up to and why I'm doing what I'm doing, and have like a more immediate connection to what I'm doing and what Bankscoin will be doing in the future. So number one, Bankscoin is a proprietary blockchain. Okay. So you guys are familiar with Bitcoin, and or maybe some of you are, some of you aren't, but we're talking about crypto and Bitcoin and blockchain technology as a whole. And so it's something that I find within this space, basically what you're looking at are digitized, permissioned or permissioned typically ledgers. They're open. They are transparent ledgers, right? And that's when you look at money and what these financial systems do with them, right? a lot of it and a lot of their function is just sort of being the keepers of the ledgers. Okay. And by by moving into the Web3 space and doing what we're doing with this blockchain technology, we are to a degree antiquating these systems. Not say antiquating because they were already antiquated. A lot of the banking systems, and when you look at the history of money and the different standards that we've used behind fiat currencies to give them value or whatever, it's a long debate when you look at the history of what's worked, what hasn't worked, what will work, and where we're going. And I don't think that Web3 is like the silver bullet to every issue on planet Earth, because it's not, at least not in its current phase. And I don't think Web4, which I believe, unless someone has already coined this term and given it some definition, but I like to use it freely as the security layer, the compliance mechanisms that are going to come after Web3, right? How do we make sure that people aren't constantly rug pulling people? How do we vet where the money is coming from and going, right, beyond just simple KYC mechanisms? Because these things exist, and if you guys don't really know what I'm talking about, at some point maybe I'll get into that. But for those of you who are seasoned in the crypto space and understand that, a lot of us, how do I put this? The vast majority of crypto users or adopters are within the United States. 1 in 8 Americans uses crypto. So just from a personal standpoint, I find it, I don't want to say self-serving, but it's of interest for Americans to pay attention to this space, pay attention to mechanisms that are coming out. I don't know of any others besides mine, but I'm sure after I do the full white paper release and we get our website up and all these different things that lets you guys more specifically look over the information instead of just digesting it from my mouth. And I apologize, I'm not great at explaining it sometimes, which is why and it's a very large and complex issue. So it's not just a very easy to digest or give someone a 1-minute spiel of what Bankscoin is, because it is proprietary and there's a lot of things I sort of have to dance around. But to give you guys an overarching understanding of it, okay, Bankscoin is the world's first CeFi permissioned ledger. And what it will seek to do is value recapture the lost value we experience in our fiat paper currency in the United States. So everyone talks about inflation. One of the mechanisms of Bankscoin is we're able to record every note that the US prints every year, and we're going to be able to go back and look at all the notes that have been printed every year prior, as long as we've had a Federal Reserve, and basically put those notes, the serial numbers, on chain. And it's a form and way of validating the blockchain. Then you won't need anything more than your phone and whatever fiat currency you have. So I don't know if I have it in my pocket or not, but yeah, if you had $100 bill or had $100 bill, you could just take it, scan it, and then that specific fiat dollar bill is recorded on chain. Okay. And there's a process on my company's end that we'll go through to make sure that we're in compliance, the United States Treasury and a bunch of other things. But what it will do is allow us to validate these notes on chain, have record of them, and that helps bring the traditional financial ecosystem on chain. It allows for mass adoption. It allows for easy user interfacing, right? You don't have to go out and there will be some things that you'll probably have to have a wallet specific to Bankscoin for a time until it's adopted by other platforms or they interface with us or whatever. But essentially the goal is to make sure that we are validating the fiat currency that is in circulation. Okay. And that's part of it. Um, I'm trying not to let too much out of the bag, right? But what this does, part of what this does, and there's more to it that it will do, but what that allows us to do is actually move our entire fiat currency reserve digitally on chain every year, year after year. Okay. So, and then part of what Bankscoin is seeking to do is create essentially a crypto bond, right? And part of the reasons why that we're doing this is because there's a lack of uh, like true financial services within the crypto space, right? Like if you get defrauded, if you send your money to a bad wallet, cold wallet, the wrong person, whatever, you're screwed. Period, point blank, right? Traditional finance, say Chase or Wells Fargo, Bank of America, whatever, you send the money to somebody or Zelle or Cash App. There's a process. There's something you can go through. And Cash App I can't necessarily speak to because I think a lot of that's automated. But um, at least with these traditional banking systems and financial institutions, there's someone you can talk to or a fraud department. There is some recourse to go about moving the money, getting it back to you. In the crypto space, there's none of that. And that, amongst many other things, allows for a space where a lot of fraud can happen. Okay. Um, and there's a lot of people who are uneducated about what it is that they're even getting into, right? They hear about some hot project, they throw a bunch of money towards it, and then, whoever it started the project just drains all the liquidity out of it, all the money out of it. Rug pulls, essentially. Okay. And there's no one who operates like the FDIC does in traditional banking in the crypto space. And that's something that we're working on and that the Bankscoin blockchain will do. And that's proprietary because we'll be able to actually bring all of these projects essentially within this ecosystem. They'll be accountable to project holders if these projects go under. So to take it back for just a moment, a lot of you who maybe don't know what the FDIC is. So when you walk into the bank and there's a little, I think it's like a placard or something. It's like they use like a little thing and it says this bank is insured by the FDIC up into, I think the amount's like $250,000 or $250,000 or $150,000 per account. Okay. So that means if you bank with that bank and you put 150 grand into a bank account and then you go to the bank the next day and they've gone under and they're insured by the FDIC, what happens is the FDIC is an organization and they go in and they will take over the bank. They'll make sure that all of the customers are able to withdraw their money, do whatever they need to do, take that money out of the bank. But what ends up happening is the FDIC takes over that bank and those customers become customers of the FDIC, of that bank, as they either transfer their business away or then work directly with the FDIC. But usually the FDIC will exit them out to some other bank and just tell them to bank with someone else. But they will make sure that their monies are covered up to a certain amount. Okay. So Bankscoin is going to do that and seek to do that for people who have experienced things like these rug pulls and been essentially defrauded by the projects. And a lot of you will wonder, how are we going to do that? Blah, blah, blah. There's a lot that I can't necessarily get into at the moment because, like I said, the proprietary processes. But trust me, it can be done. And so that's part of it too, is essentially seeking to insure retail investors. Because part of the issue I see with Web3 is a lot of people treat it, as a stock market and as these stores of value. But 100 years from now, more than likely, these digital currencies are going to be used as currencies. Okay. And so they need to have something like the FDIC, just like all fiat notes need some type of governmental interfaced corporation entity, something that is able to help people out when instances like this occur. So that's a little bit about Bankscoin, a little bit about myself. Like I said, I'm an investor. I've been into jewelry for a while, or I'm not an investor. I'm in an, how do I put this? I'm a crypto investor, and I am a technologist. I'm someone that believes in the Web3 space. I believe that this space is going to go a lot further than where it is now. And it's up to us to make sure that we design things to make sure that it's a safer place, a more equitable place, a democratic place for all of us who participate in it. But I can only do my part locally in my country as far as legislative stuff goes, and that's what I'll be working on. And you can actually, there's a petition on change.org. I will try to remember to link it in the description of these of this video on YouTube. But you guys, if you want to be part of the change, you can just sign the petition. But it's essentially to value recapture lost value of fiat currency through the Bankscoin blockchain. And I'm going on 20 minutes. Let me just look at the Twitter real quick. I'm sure no one's tuned in because people usually don't engage with me too much. But hopefully this is something of value, and maybe it gets looked at after the fact. And I know people are busy too, so a lot of things I talk about are probably pretty dry and boring, and they're so vague. It's probably hard to digest to a certain degree. So I hope this clears up some things, or maybe it muddies the waters. But a lot of it I'm still working on and having to go through processes where I can't fully disclose all the information that I would like to you guys. But yeah, this is something that affects all of Web3, Bankscoin as a whole, and this compliance issue that I'm talking about. Okay, so I didn't get anything on Twitter, or maybe my computer's slowing down, or I don't really know. I can't speak to it. So this is my first time doing this. So hopefully it was of some value to you guys. I was saying I do a bunch of different things. I'm a musician. I obviously am working on Bankscoin. I taught myself to code. I would not call myself a full stack developer, but I'm highly active in the ecosystem and this space. And also, if you guys want to look on bitcoin.com, I believe it's bitcoin.org. I don't remember the original site. Hang on, let me look it up. I think it's bitcoin.com. Oh, I should just have it pulled up. I have it in my, what do you call it? What's the thing? Bitcoin.org. Bitcointalk.org. So those are the original discussion boards for Bitcoin, and there was a lot of senior developers on there, and you guys could actually look up the original conversations I've had with a lot of them. I believe back in January of 2024, where we talk about this idea and the things I'm implementing in it, and that would maybe give you a little bit more of a space of understanding to start at. So, like I said, hopefully this is of value. I will link the description, or in the description below, I will have links to the Bankscoin change.org petition. We need 10,000 petition or 10,000 signatures. I think we're at like 6. So if you are just tuning in and want to go sign the petition, that would be awesome. It would affect all of you. If you're sick of inflation making your dollars not worth much, this is of interest to you. If you're sick of, rug pulls and these like pump and dump schemes and celebrities and stuff, like jumping in and out and taking a bunch of liquidity out of projects and then hiding, this is of interest to you. So I'll leave it there for now. We're going on 20 minutes. No one wants to talk to me at the moment, but that is all good. So we will just continue on. And I know I've been late on a couple of these, but I hope that my engagement in other people's X spaces and Twitter spaces has provided itself of some use and drawn some interest. So we'll just keep plugging away and go from there. So I appreciate your guys' time, and I look forward to talking to you guys the next time.